Hey, what's up? Welcome to episode 28 of Movie Dumpster. Our Trick or Trash month is still underway, and this week we have Idle Hands from 1999, directed by Rodman Flender. I'm Joel Escola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor. I don't have an opening gag for this movie, McGraw.
Welcome to the dumpster.
It's my hand, okay? It's like it's got a mind of its own. It makes me do things I don't want it to do.
Oh yeah, man? I used to be like that. Get into all kinds of stupid shit. Look, the trick is to keep yourself busy. That's why I'm always working on the board. Keeps me out of trouble. Idle hands are the devil's playground.
Dang on. Isn't it a little chancy? I mean, this is Halloween, so what all the creepy things are supposed to stalk the earth?
It deals with demons, demon resurrection, and those forces which roam the forest and dark bowers of man's domain. The first few pages warn that these enduring creatures may lie dormant, but are never truly dead.
It's Halloween, gentlemen. Halloween! Have you forgotten?
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
Trick or treat.
No, I really didn't. I thought long and hard about how I could incorporate that into this movie, and I had nothing.
Idle Hands?
Connor, the Devil's Playpen McGraw. I don't even fucking know. That sounds like a pro wrestling name.
I'm Connor, the Devil's Playpen McGraw.
You be brought to the Devil's Playpen.
You and me, brother, Devil's Playpen.
We're gonna take you to the Spider-Man 1 match where wrestling's both real and fake.
Bonesaw.
You come up through the floor at the front entrance or by the Titantron, and you're like, you know, it's like Gangrel, but instead of like the blood coming, I was meant to get like the playpen coming up with you.
Oh my god, I forgot about that fucking guy.
That is legitimately a fantastic wrestling parody gimmick. That's really good.
Just step over the playpen and you just march down. They're all serious, like you just don't even acknowledge it.
But I have baby legs, like I'm just fumbling like a baby deer.
You're like that fucking image of Toad from Mario that's online with the long legs, if you know what I'm talking about.
Not really, but I'm just thinking of Toad running down a wrestling aisle, and I laughed.
Wow!
I'm gonna make a kind of funny Frankenstein and Bound reference in the first minute of this podcast.
Oh man, here we go. What this is? I mean, the easy way is this is John Hurt's fault because we don't find out where the fuck this hand comes from.
Hi, I'm under the bed.
I'm not even talking about John Hurt per se. I'm talking about Roger Corman.
Roger Corman? Oh, okay.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
Go ahead, slap it on down.
Apparently, I don't have the page in front of me, so correct me on this. But the director of this movie, Rodman Flender, he worked for Roger Corman for years. He was like the VP of Roger Corman's production company for years.
This feels like a fucking Roger Corman movie.
This must have been a back pocket idea he had while working there.
He directed it after he directed Leprechaun 2. Several years after Leprechaun 2.
Oh, he directed Leprechaun 2?
Apparently.
I like Leprechaun 2 a lot, and it's a better film than this movie.
I don't like Leprechaun any of them.
What? You're crazy.
That first one's fine for what it is.
I don't like Leprechaun. I don't like... it's the same reason I don't like Child's Play. And I think the Leprechaun actually has an edge over Chucky because I can still palm Chuck in the forehead and boot him down a flight of stairs.
Leprechaun has magical powers.
Exactly. That's his only leg up on Chucky. And I still don't care about Leprechaun.
It's a good movie.
I would say the leg up goes to Child's Play only because that was intended to be a rated R from the beginning, and Leprechaun was supposed to be fucking PG in the beginning.
No, it wasn't. Was it really?
Yeah, PG, and then they had to go back in and refilm a bunch of scenes.
You know who currently owns the Leprechaun rights?
The guy that just got fucking Jason, but not the rest of the franchise?
No. The WWE.
No, they do. Oh, yeah, they do, because they came out with Leprechaun Origins.
They produced the last one and put one of their dudes in it. They put fucking Hornswoggle in as the Leprechaun.
I fucking saw that, okay?
Yeah.
And you see it for like a second, and like if that's Hornswoggle, like it's not like Warwick Davis in the other ones. It's just like some shitty ass CGI garbage shit. All right, so let's get into this. So the plot of this movie is basically Devon Sawa wakes up one day.
Devon Sawa.
He wakes up one day and his one tape player ends and he plugs a different one in.
He wakes wakes up and he's like, I'm not a child actor anymore. Nobody likes me. So he so Devon Sawa wakes up one day and he's got an evil hand that kills people for no reason.
And that's it. That's the plot. There's no, like, we don't get, like, the fucking Cult of Thorn-esque explanation.
Nope.
It has nothing to do with any kind of, like, there's no seance, there's nothing. He just got an evil hand.
Literally, what we find out is because he's such a lazy fucking cock in this movie, he gets, like, his hands are possessed because idle hands at a devil's playground or some shit.
Yeah, this entity seeks out as Vivica A. Fox, is also in this movie, points out it looks for the laziest fuck that it can find.
She was just in Independence Day, and then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, here's my career going down the fucking toilet, because what is this shit?
This movie shocked me because all I can think of in my head was Devon Sawa, and I'm like, maybe Jessica Alba? And then Seth Green shows up, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And then Foggy Nelson from Daredevil shows up, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yep. He sure does.
I'm like, he's also Fulton from fucking
Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks, whose name I always forget.
His name is Elden Henson.
Yeah, along with Vivica A. Fox and the guy from Event Horizon who gets sucked out the airlock.
Yes, Baby Bear.
Yeah, Baby Bear.
This fucking guy's like the Lost Busey. Isn't he also in like the Brady Bunch movie too as like the same character?
Oh, you're talking about Randy?
Yeah.
Fucking Busey.
He's a Lost Busey trying to fuck Vivica Fox.
He made me think of like the older Pete from Pete and Pete, or the fucking the goon from Children of the Corn, Mordecai. He looked like fucking Mordecai.
Oh, Malachi?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Like, I forgot what exact year this movie came out in. And then he pops up. I'm like, here we go.
It feels like 94, but it's 99.
Well, no, it's definitely 99 because the music told me so.
Oh, yeah. Offspring is in this fucking movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up.
I saw him and I was like, I totally forgot you were doing Ramon songs. What are you doing? Get out of here.
Yeah, that guy can act.
You guys want to just jump into this?
Yeah, because that's the plot. Like, Devon Sawa's got killer hands and it's stupid.
What a fucking box quote that was. Devon Sawa's got killer hands and it's stupid. Joe Lascola, movie dumpster.
Excuse me, hand, not hands. It's already misleading from the title because it's like...
Yeah, idle hand doesn't sound quite as good.
Yeah, well, no, it's idle hand because he's like, yeah, well, I fucking jerk off with this other one and smoke weed with this one, so this is my idle one, and that's why there's a demon in it or something. Like, what the fuck?
I love your summation of this movie.
Dude, my fucking brain was melting when I was watching this because I get it. So this movie is it's a big in joke, right? Like it's a whole gag.
Oh yeah.
Like it's a black comedy, horror, whatever.
It's very violent. I wasn't ready for that.
I knew that it kind of was, but like the problem with this is all these jokes suck.
I wouldn't say all of them suck, but this movie, the problem is not all of these jokes work, but the movie is like, it's Hot Shots-esque where like there's not a single moment that goes by where someone's not quipping or a joke is happening or physical comedy is occurring.
Yeah, but Hot Shots is funny.
Yeah, because Hot Shots is written by like a group of like fucking maniacs. Like,
wasn't it like by the same guys who did like Airplane?
Yes.
I mean, we'll get into it in the movie, but I think it's definitely a case of them just trying to get as many jokes in there as possible and just hoping some of them land.
I will say, like, Devon Sawa's physical acting with hand antics.
Oh, it's great.
Is very amusing, especially when he later on when he rings the doorbell and then launches himself off the deck with just his finger.
Well, it's like Jim Carrey in Liar Liar level.
Yeah, like beating his own ass for the sake of entertainment.
So this movie, even though we've been talking about Devon Sawa, it actually opens with Fred Willard.
Yeah, for like 5 seconds, which is a damn shame.
Here's what my dumbass did. Last night I was like, I know this guy. Who is that? I type in Fred Ward. Fuck.
Definitely not the same person.
That's fucking great.
And I was like, oh shit, that's the guy from Tremors.
I wish it was Fred Wood. He's like, oh, they're under the goddamn ground.
Oh, my stupid lazy son, goddammit, where's Kevin Bacon?
Idle hand to burf.
And his wife looks really familiar, but I didn't really I couldn't find her name in anything in particular. She just has a very recognizable face.
She reminded me of the love interest from Space Mutiny.
She's from something, and I couldn't put my finger on it either. And I even looked her up, and I'm looking through her IMDb, and I'm like, who the fuck is this woman? But I still couldn't put my finger on it.
So they have this little quip where the wife is just basically like, oh, yeah, Fred Willard, because I don't remember his name. Did you blow all the candles out downstairs? He's like, oh, yeah, I did it.
His name is literally Dad Tobias.
I think she says Gary or some shit, but he's not even credited as it.
This is taking place on Halloween, so their whole house is decked out in jack-o'-lanterns and all kinds of shit.
Yes. And it's insinuated that, like, oh, these people go all out for Halloween. You know, they put the fucking fake heads in everywhere and they fucking blood and all that shit and spider webs or whatever. But not really.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool looking, but it's not, I wouldn't consider that all out.
Now, my neighbors went all out by having, like, people hide in fucking ditches he dug in his front yard to jump out at folks.
There's not a fucking Halloween decoration to be had except at the school. And, like, one, like, witch thing at Jessica Alba's house, like, hanging on the door.
Yeah.
There's no fucking jack-o'-lanterns anywhere.
Yeah, it seems like these people go all out because the rest of town is like, we fucking hate Halloween.
Which is hilarious, because this is where they shot the original Halloween.
Oh my god, is it really?
Wait, really?
Yeah, this is the town where they shot the original Halloween.
They were probably like, get out of here.
They hear a noise, and Fred Willard goes to go check it out. I forget the series of events, but at some point, there's fucking written on the ceiling in like
blacklight ink.
Oh, that happens before he goes downstairs. They turn the lights off and then it says, I'm under the bed.
And they go, oh my god!
This must be an Anton prank. I'm like, oh, that's a thing. He never plays a single prank on anybody else the rest of the film, by the way.
No. She's like, oh, you know Anton and his crazy pranks. I'm like, do we know Anton and his crazy pranks? Did we never get there. He's just a fucking stoner douchebag fucking loser. And I hate him. Sorry.
I would hate Anton if I knew him in real life.
He looks like he smells like a bag of shit.
Man, your contempt for this is a little more, I would say it's on par with House of the Dead.
It's just kind of, because this movie's like nothing to me. We'll get that to the end of the episode, but like, it's just, I don't know. This movie is just like a bunch of bad jokes strung together and like 5 of them land. And then by the end of the movie, you're like, what the fuck did I just watch?
I appreciate this movie on an aesthetic level. But anyway, yeah, so like, crazy Anton, that's when, I think it's Gary. Whatever, he's Gary Tobias now. He goes downstairs and presumably murdered off screen. And then the cat jumps in the bed?
There's like a classic, like, cat scare. And I get it. Like, it's supposed to be goofy, but it's...
There's like 6 fake jump scares, like, strung together very, like, sarcastically.
Yeah.
Complete with, like, like Friday the 13th fucking violin strikes.
I mean, that's the whole point of the film, but again, it never really nails that tone. Like, it never really nails like student. Have you guys ever seen Student Bodies?
I think I know of it.
It's like a spoof of like a bunch of like all the slasher movies, and it's done so fucking well. It's like Scary Movie 3 or 3 decades before Scary Movie even came out, but it's really funny.
The horror comedy, like, especially I think horror parody is rarely done very, very well. One, because horror parody is almost as offensively common as like direct-to-DVD slashers.
Right.
I think there's like 75 Saturday the 13th movies or Saturday the 14th movies. Who the fuck cares?
Is there? I thought there was just one.
There's the Blame Asylum. That's all I have to say.
Fuck that company. They're responsible for all the tripe in this world. Yeah, so Dad Tobias goes downstairs, and Mom Tobias is like, "What's that noise? I think he's dead." So she goes down there, and and
I think he's dead.
Yeah, basically.
You're gonna do every character impression in this movie.
I am, because that's all it is. It's just bleh. So she goes downstairs and she dies. I forget exactly how.
But not before berating her husband about not blowing out those jack-o'-lantern candles.
Yeah, she goes downstairs and she looks for him, and oh, that's right, she slips on some blood or something.
Yes, that's it. It's at the bottom of the stairs, right?
Yeah, she gets up and runs back upstairs, and then she goes to call the police, but she picks the phone, and her hands are trembling so much she can't even make it land on 9. So she goes, 9, stall, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, and 1, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, and then before she can do that, she is clutched and dragged under a bed and then turned into a big pile of strawberry jelly.
Where the hell is Isaac Hayes when you need him?
That's right.
He could have been off screen, reading her the line. 9,
One.
1. She would have been okay.
They actually make that joke in this movie, and it's fucking awful. I think Seth Green says it.
Call 911. What's the number?
Because she's a stoner. Yeah, this woman, like, gets pulled under the bed and fucking a giant, like, blood splatter shoots out. Look, okay, the gore in this movie is great. I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I'm waiting for, like, people to die at this point now, because I'm just like, I just don't want to listen to Devon Sawa fucking bitch and moan anymore about his hand. I'm just like, just let people die.
I like how Joe's empathy is completely defeated by Devon Sawa being so vastly unlikable.
He is fucking awful in this film.
I don't think his performance sucks. His character is his character is insufferable.
So it cuts. This kid apparently sleeps in the attic and like has the pull down stairs, like keeping him upstairs. You remember like how like Clark Griswold gets like stuck up in the attic, even though that's not how that works. Like he's up in the attic like that, but then the cat is up in the attic with him, and I'm like, how the fuck did that cat get up there?
Before the mother gets killed, she goes and opens up the attic and calls to him, and, you know, not knowing that it's him, because you don't find out for another, like, 15 minutes.
Oh, spoiler!
Well, we already talked about it in the intro. And, I guess, you know, again, you know, I like to fucking read a lot into these movies. I'm assuming that she just left it open, but if not, yeah, I don't know how the fuck that cat got in there.
Here's how the cat got in the fucking attic, okay?
Here we go.
Just like how What's-His-Nuts from American Werewolf in London survived the Eiffel Tower incident, a small portal appeared between the attic floor and the ceiling below, and the cat jumped up, and then John Hurt was like, "And close," and that was it.
I'm under your bed.
At this point, he's just willy-nilly opening portals over time and space, seeing what will fall through. Because he's irresponsible, get it?
Yeah, exactly. So fucking Devon Sawa, like, wakes up, and like Sean said before, he, like, this was so weird for me, and I'm just, like, processing it now. But, like, yeah, he's, like, listening to headphones, and then, like, wakes up.
He's listening to some awful thrash rock.
Yeah, but he wakes up, and he's, like, listening to these headphones, and then he, like, unplugs them, and then plugs, like, a fresh one in.
Because I think the idea that they're trying to get across is that he listened to this all night, the tape ends, and that wakes him up, and then he plugs into his other one so he doesn't have to fucking rewind it, because he's lazy.
I guess... Is that what we're doing here? Like, he's too lazy?
I mean, it's a blink and you miss a gag. It's never brought up again.
No.
It's just one of the things that makes this movie so hilariously 90s, because it's one very large tape player. I think it's a large tape player with big ass fucking headphones, and then a tiny one with smaller headphones, and all of them look even the smaller ones look cumbersome. And the tape player caught me way off guard, because I'm like, oh my god, that was an actual Walkman.
So he puts these headphones on and he goes downstairs and he's like making cereal and he's like, "Mom, there's no milk. Mom, there's no dog food." And I'm like, you fucking, like, this guy, I fucking hate this guy so much. So he's eating his fucking cereal, and he's sitting on his couch watching MTV, and he just looks like shit. Like, he looks like the dude if the dude wasn't cool and, like, a fucking hobo.
He looks like the dude going through puberty.
He's got like no...
Well, he kind of is. He's a high school student.
Pretty much. So he has a fucking huffer around his neck, like for asthma, but it's just a bowl. It's a bowl piece. So then he fucking sparks up, and he's watching fucking TV, and then he like runs out of weed, and then he like calls Foggy Nelson for some weed.
And he's like, "No, Matt, I can't watch you kill yourself anymore." Wait, wrong film.
Yeah. He's like, "Come on, man." He's like, "Come over and bring me weed." He's like, "I'm not fucking Domino's." And he's like, "All right, I guess I'll have to come over now." So he goes outside, and like the gag is like he lives across the street.
And he doesn't give a fuck. He puts his mom's slippers on. He's got his underwear like on still, no pants.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking train wreck. And he wears this outfit through the entire film, by the way. He never changes.
It just gets bloodier.
There's blood, there's shit, piss, and sweat all over this fucking thing. And for some reason, Jessica Alba wants to fuck him for whatever reason. So he goes over to Foggy Nelson's house and he climbs in the basement window, and Seth Green's there.
I like how you said it like you're like, and Seth Green was there.
Because when Seth Green is in any movie, he's just the same character.
I know, but I like Seth Green immensely, so it's fine with me.
He's all right, but like he always plays the same fucking guy.
Yeah, but I like that about him. I don't want him to be anything else.
I guess. I don't know. He's got like no range whatsoever. He like literally plays himself in everything.
He's Scott Evil all the time.
Yeah, basically. Anyway, he smokes a lot of weed in this movie. And there's a lot of stoner jokes, and that's basically what this exchange is. It's just a bunch of stoner jokes. They're like, oh, you got weed? And he's like, no, I don't got weed. And he's like, you sure? And he's like, nope. And then he leaves, and he's like, I got weed. Let's smoke it.
Yeah, and then they rip a bong that has huge tits on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of bong ripping in this film.
I want to take a moment, because you said he was watching MTV, and I think they're listening to music again here. I want to list some names off the soundtrack real quick, just to really crystallize the era that we're in. Static X, Unwritten Law, The Offspring, as we previously mentioned, Zebrahead, Rob Zombie, BTK, Sublime, Nikki Sixx, and Rancid.
Nikki Sixx?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's written by Nikki Sixx, performed by Motley Crue. I skipped over that part.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Shout at the Devil. I was like, Motley Crue. I was like, Nikki Sixx is credited, and that's it.
No, I skipped over that part. I'm very tired, everybody.
They were like, fuck Vince Neil, whatever. They play Shout at the Devil like 20,000 fucking times. That's the only tape that Randy has in his car.
Which is actually where we meet Randy, isn't it?
Well, no. First, Devon Sawa. He's like in the basement with fucking Pnub and Mick. That's their names, by the way.
Yeah. Pnub.
Fucking Fulton is Pnub and fucking Seth Green's Mick, but, you know, who cares? They're down there, like, bullshitting, and they mention... they hear like a motorcycle, and fucking Devon Sawa like runs to the window. They're like, here she comes, the girl he's in love with, and it's Jessica Alba.
You grew up next door to her for like 20 years, man, and you never said hi, man. Go do it, you pussy.
Do it, Peter. Don't talk to Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Pretty much. The only other information you really get out of the scene besides that is that there's a Halloween party at the school the next day. And that when Jessica Alba's character Molly drives by, she accidentally drops like this book that Devon Sawa's like, oh, it's her lyric notebook.
I want to talk about that dance for a second, because this is probably one of the most contrived, like shove a square peg into a round hole way to get a bunch of people in one place for a horror movie. It's like, well, there's a serial killer, so the school has a dance that 20-year-olds can go to.
I don't think that's too out of left field. A lot of movies do that. I don't think that's too crazy.
The dance is the least of my problems.
It's the third of only 3 locations you get to in this movie, because 2/3 this take place in Anton's house.
Most of it does, yeah.
Yeah.
We're at the Jungle Burger.
Oh, the fucking Jungle Burger. I forgot that's what it was called. The twins.
Oh, yeah, you get that information here, too.
There has been like a rash of killings across the city. And a lot of them are high school kids. And among them are these twins that go to the high school, and they're like a running gag throughout the fucking movie for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We see their ears later. They're fucking, well, we'll get to it. That fucking scene made me laugh out loud. I thought it was hilarious. Anyway.
So yeah, he catches up with Molly, and he goes to give her the notebook back, and before that his friends were joking, oh yeah, you think he's gonna actually talk to her? And Seth Green's like, nah. And then he hands it to her at the door, and he fucking, like, runs off like fucking Roadrunner.
Yeah, he slams the book into her face and then, like, leaps over the fucking the balcony of her deck and runs home.
Yeah, she's absolutely smitten by this douchebag.
I don't get it, though.
Me neither.
Like, I don't hate the guy as much as you do, but, like, at the same time, like, why haven't they ever talked if apparently she's immediately into him the second that she actually has a conversation with him for like half a second?
I don't think it's like, here's the thing, he is
a fucking dirtbag.
Yeah, no, he is for sure.
She must be like clinically obsessed with him.
Was she Helga?
Yes.
It's not even like a class thing, like, oh, he's lower class and she's upper class or whatever. It's just like she takes showers and he doesn't. Ever.
Remember the episode of Futurama where the like that supervisor comes in and Fry is so filthy, she can't help but get turned on by him and basically has that affair with him? Dirty, dirty boy!
He looks like he should be on the fucking set of Street Trash, this fucking guy.
He made me think of, like, you know, what's his face? Jason Lee's character from Mallrats, he made me think of.
Kinda, yeah.
He could totally fit in the background of a Kevin Smith movie.
I thought this was a Kevin Smith movie.
This was like, you can tell that Half Baked must have come out either like around the corner from this or something, because like I don't remember seeing a movie in recent memory that had this many just like weed lulls.
Not to mention, just as an aside, at one point, fucking Seth Green shoves an entire bud of fucking marijuana in Devon Sawa's like fucking inhaler pipe, and I'm just in my head, I'm just thinking, no, what the fuck are you doing right now?
That was the whole dime bag.
That was $20 you just fucking lit on fire.
Yeah. Would you just keep it in there? So this is when you get introduced to Vivica A. Fox.
Yeah, whose character is apparently a druid, maybe?
A druid. It's so fucking vague.
And you get that information through one joke. And that's all it's ever talked about.
I'm kind of like two minds of that. Like, part of me is like, yeah, it's not really explained, so that's kind of dumb. But the other part of me is, every time it's brought up, it's played up for laughs. Not that they always land, but it almost always is played up for a laugh. And I'm like, okay, they clearly knew this sounded stupid, and that's the angle they went with it.
But why bother? She's like fucking Creighton Duke, man. She's like looking for this fucking hand. She like goes to this penitentiary, and she like finds this dude, like this killer guy who's on death row or whatever, and she like goes, he's about to be executed, and she like disguises herself as a nun, and she goes in there to like see this guy to, I guess, murder him, because he has the demon in his hand, because she's part of this cult who has like passed on for centuries like this the lineage of like going to kill this demon that lives in people's hands, idle hands, get it? So she like goes to see this guy, and his hand's like all fucking shriveled up and shit, and I guess doesn't have the demon anymore. She's like, God damn it. And then she just leaves. And like, I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, okay, wait, is it just one demon that like hops into different people's hands, like fucking Fallen with Denzel Washington? Is it like Azazel's hand?
Yeah, I mean, she goes back to her Jeep, and she has like that map, which, you know, she has like all the spots that she's tracked it down up until this point.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. I forgot about this moment entirely.
She draws like a fucking... she connects the dots on the map. It's a fucking pentagram.
I looked at that and like, she's going to make a pentagram, but I'm like, but also... you could come to various conclusions about how these all connect, because they're like 3 over here and like 1 way down to the left and like 1 over here, and then she's like pentagram.
Coincidence at best.
I mean, it's literally in there just for foreshadowing. That's and just to get her to her location.
And I'm watching that, I'm like, you could probably make a dog out of those dots too. They were kind of all over the place.
It's just fuzzy. I know it's stupid, but I care about that shit, and if you're gonna like put a little bit of thought into anything in this movie, it should be that, in my opinion. Just give the hand a little bit more lore.
So you cut back to Devon Sawa, and he's just like minding his own business. He picks up the dog food, he picks up the milk, and he's on his fucking bike, and these 2 douchebag cops like just fucking take him out on the side of the road.
One of them's from fucking Taming the T-Rex, isn't he?
Sean Whalen. I was just about to say, here he is again.
Oh my God, I didn't even pick up on that.
This scene's basically pulled right out of fucking Clockwork Orange. They're like, yeah, we used to be droogies, but now we're fucking cops, and now we're gonna beat your ass and write you up or whatever.
Well, these guys, they're all pissed off. They're like, oh, when we were in high school with you, why didn't you ever burn with us? And he's like, because you guys were losers. And they're like, oh, wise guy.
Oh yeah?
We're cops now. We can beat you to death legally.
We can frame you for whatever. So they throw him up against the fucking fence.
They straight up say that.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. I feel like this happens a lot. So they try to bust him on whatever he's doing, but it's so unwarranted, because he's literally like the scene is weird because
they just knock him over like he's minding his own fucking business, and they just assault him.
Yeah, so they try to get him on like a bag of weed, but the bag's empty, so they like throw it on the ground. They're like, oh, here's a ticket for littering. So Foggy Nelson tells Devon Sawa that he doesn't have any weed, even though he has weed. Why they don't give it to him, I don't know.
Because he probably always smokes their weed. They're like, fuck that.
He's buying it from them. What the fuck does he care?
No, I think he's mooching.
Oh, he's mooching. Oh, okay. This makes sense then. Then he's like, yeah, go home and smoke fucking, what is it?
Oregano and nutmeg. It'll get you high.
So Devon Sawa takes this fucking ticket for littering and rolls a joint of nutmeg and oregano and smokes it.
And then vomits.
Like he should have.
And then he kind of freaks out a little bit.
He takes the Dawn soap and he fucking pours it right in his mouth.
That did have to, I imagine, I was like, what would that taste like? I'm like, it would probably taste like asshole.
It has a light pecan after dinner taste.
Well, he does this. He washes his mouth out literally, and then he goes to make himself like a bologna and fucking mayo sandwich while he's watching like this provocative video on MTV. So he's not, like, paying attention.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He pulls out this fucking knife and there's, like, blood all over it. His fucking, like, parents' blood. And he's, like, slopping this fucking mayonnaise on this bologna sandwich.
It made me uncomfortable because I'm like, will you pay attention to what you're doing, please? Because you're just getting mayonnaise everywhere.
Yeah, look at the sandwich. Like, you could be putting that anywhere.
And that's a weird hang-up, I know, but I was like, oh, stop it.
And then he fucking takes a bite of the bologna, and then, like, does he, like, taste it and realize it, or, like, see it and realize it?
No, he looks down and sees the bloody knife and then puts the sandwich down, and then he sees his cat, like, eating a fucking eyeball.
Anton freaks out when he sees the blood, and I forget how this series of events happens, but he bumps into the fucking jack-o'-lanterns that are, like, on these, at least in the beginning of the movie, on, like, scarecrows, but now when they fall over, it's his fucking dead parents.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the American Gothic couple with jack-o'-lantern heads or some shit.
But they're in the house. Like, why aren't they outside?
Yeah, well, yeah, also, like I don't care how much of a loser you are, they would start to smell by now.
Well, before he smokes all that weed in his inhaler, he does light, like, 6 fucking incense sticks, to be fair. So he probably couldn't smell a goddamn thing.
That house probably smells like East meets West.
Let's also be fair. This guy hasn't showered in like 4 fucking weeks, so that's just his funk stinking up the fucking house.
He goes outside to hurl after he sees this, and then Pnub and fucking Seth Green show up. And they're like, oh, hey, man, what's going on? And they come inside, and he's freaking out. He's like, oh, my God, my fucking parents are dead. Oh, my God. But they come in and they're like watching MTV. They're like, oh man, I didn't know they even had this video on TV anymore. I thought it got banned.
It's fucking 2 Live Crew. Pop that coochie. And they're like, yeah, shake that ass. Let me see them tits. And I'm like, what the fuck? They like walk right past. I mean, that was kind of funny. They walk right past his dead parents. So it was funny.
And then he's like, no, look. He turns the TV off and they see it. And then fucking Pnub is like, oh my God. And he like gets down on his knees and tries to like resuscitate Fred Willard.
I'm always a fan of that gag. Like,
wasn't there one like that in Gnome Named Norm?
Yeah, when the guy falls out of the fucking hearse and the guy's like trying to give him mouth to mouth.
But he does the full-on, like, balls of a fist and hammer fists his fucking dead dad's corpse.
yeah, he's, like, punching him, and he's like, dude, don't punch my dad.
He's like, sorry, I saw it work in a movie once. So, they see that, and I think they see, someone knocks over, like, a bag of, like, onion rings that they got from Jungle Burger. There's, like, 2, like, fucking cooked ears in there that fall out, and they're, like, 2 left ears. The twins.
I didn't get that joke, and I'm like, wait, what?
They also find, like, a ripped part of a shirt in the mother's, like, hand. And then it's, like, Devon Sawa, like, pulls back his jacket, and it is, like, exactly the right, like, fucking piece.
Yeah.
And and then there's also in the corner, like by the fucking basement door, there's like written in blood, ant.
You're like, ant? Oh my God, your parents were killed by ants?
And then Devon Sawa, I think, is the one that actually puts it together. He's like, I think I did it.
Yeah, he's starting to put it together first, and his friends are like, they just go sit in the couch and start fucking watching more TV.
Well, they start to believe him, and then fucking Pnub, he fucking takes a quick hit once he realizes, oh shit.
Everybody is reaching for that reefer when some shit happens. When some shit goes down, they like need it like they're shooting a bottle of fucking whiskey.
I honestly, if I was in their situation, I would do the exact same thing.
I wouldn't smoke fucking weed.
No.
I would be bugging out.
But at some point, Mick eventually takes the piece of shirt and kind of aligns it with Devon Sawa's shirt, and they're like, the killer's in your house, and Devon Sawa goes, the killer's in me.
Yeah, he goes, the killers wore your shirt.
Mick and Anton end up in the kitchen, and Mick's like, let's, you know what, we're gonna call some help, and we're gonna smooth this over. And this is when like you actually start to see the hand do shit, because the whole movie it hasn't done a fucking thing so far.
No,
because it's all happening off screen. And then it goes full Evil Dead, just buck nutty on fucking Seth Green. And smashes a beer bottle and stabs him in the fucking forehead with it.
Yeah, because he goes to try to call the cops.
Yeah.
And Devon Sawa's like, no, you can't call the cops because I'm the killer. And he's like, what are you talking about, man?
Well, then Pnub's fucking, he kind of sees this happening and he's like freaking out. And Anton is just kind of like, hey, man, it's because you made me smoke that fucking nutmeg and oregano. It's driving me nuts.
See, if that was the reason why his hand was possessed, I would give this movie another 5 points because because that's funny. Like, I don't know.
Well, because any sane person would not do that.
No. So I thought that would be fucking funny as hell if, like, he smoked that shit and then, like, went insane. And then, like, his hand became possessed by some way of, like, some weird ritual that he did when he was fucked up on...
It's some old, like, fucking Celtic, like, fucking murder ritual or something along those lines.
Yeah, right? It's the Feast of Samhain. Like, just fucking... It could have been anything.
Samhain demands blood, oregano, and what was the other thing?
Nutmeg. But you got to put it in the peace pipe that looks like a pumpkin.
It's a very specific ritual.
Oh, you got to smoke it in the backyard with your potatoes.
So I can't remember how, but oh yeah, Pnub goes to run from him, and Devon Sawa was like, "No, you can't go in the basement. There's no way out."
And he's like, "I'm just gonna go down there anyway."
He's already like midway down when he says that, and he just is like, okay, like what do I do now?
He grabs a trowel, and I was like, "Is this like a callback to like Night of the Living Dead?"
Oh, I didn't even think about that, but that's interesting.
Maybe I'm reaching too far, but it could be.
So they have kind of a weird standoff, and Devon Sawa's hand is going completely insane, and he's trying to get Pnub to leave. He does so nearly successfully, and then the hand reaches over, grabs a saw blade, frisbees it at this dude, and it slices his head clean off.
We all remember the Tay Diggs CGI face fall, right?
Oh, where his head falls off, his face falls off his head like it's a fucking feather?
Yeah, and it looks like fucking shit garbage. Well, this is done really well with a mix of practical and CGI. Like, this I will give it this. This movie does a really good job with the mixing, the practical stuff with the CGI stuff.
I was going to say the same thing because a lot of the stuff with this character and his severed head coming up is all, I'm like,
yeah,
it's never distracting and it's never so bad I have to point it out.
No, and I like it. Like, it's fun. It's fun stuff. Like the zombie stuff, and again, the gore and the zombie stuff in this is good. I like it a lot. It's the highlight of this film easily. Like, that's the only reason I would watch this movie is for those parts. Yeah, the hand like throws a fucking saw blade and cuts his head off, and he like falls backwards down the stairs, and his head falls off, and it looks awesome.
And then Devon Sawa goes to watch a little TV.
Yeah, he goes to sit down and just chill out.
Yeah, he goes and sits and he like tries to smoke a bowl, doesn't he? And he's like watching fucking he's like watching MTV, and then like the hand like wants to watch like horror movies.
Well, the hand keeps switching to other stations that have hands on the screen at the time that it changes to it. Because first it is like a hand horror movie, like a hand coming out of the ground, and then he switches to something else, and then it comes back to just hands.
A hand with like 8 fucking fingers. What the fuck was that about? I was like, is that the 6-fingered man?
The 5,000 fingers of Dr. T.
And so yeah, he has this kind of standoff with his own hand, and then the cat jumps on the table, so the hand picks it up by the tail, whips it around, hurls it out the window and across the street.
Like a fucking bolo. He like swings it around and throws it out the fucking window.
And being someone who works in a veterinary hospital, this hurt me in ways I wasn't ready for.
What's funny is like not only does he just throw the cat out the window and you see it fly out the window, but like there's like 4 different cuts of it sailing across the fucking neighborhood. Into a fucking trellis.
Yeah, right outside fucking Jessica Alba's house.
It lands in a bush and it's still alive. I don't know how.
Well, it's never seen again, so I don't know if it's alive.
Well, it's making noise when he goes to look for it. It's growling at him, and I'm presuming it just stayed there for the rest of the film. Cause it's like, fuck this. He basically arouses some attention, from Molly, and oh no, I'm sorry. The hand basically realizes she's there, and the hand like drags him up this fucking this like little porch looking thing.
Yeah, the hand wants Jessica Alba, so it's like pulling him towards her house.
And Devon Sawa was actually doing some pretty good physical stuff here.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Like his hand looks like it's actually throttling him and throwing him all across his fucking porch. And it's something I said earlier. It rings the doorbell, and then he like takes his hand and he like grabs his own hand to pull it off the doorbell, and then in doing so, like, he pulls himself so hard, he basically just, like, planks over the fucking railing of this porch and just, like, back bumps on the front yard.
Right into a bush.
And then Molly answers the door in, like, these, like, short as hell pajamas. And she's like, aren't you a little old for Ding Dong Ditch? And he's like, no. She's already in, like,
porno levels of like, oh, hello there clothing, like hello plumber man.
Yeah, I have a leak. Could you come in and fuck me? So she's like, yeah, she's basically giving him the fucking bedroom eyes. Like, yeah, want to come inside? You smell like shit and you look like garbage, but hey.
You're covered in blood. That's not suspicious.
I kind of want you. You're turning me on here.
You have a very appealing musk.
Mind you, the whole time his hand is freaking out.
Yes. Yeah, his hand's like his hand's freaking out. Again, like Evil Dead 2, like the Ash, Evil Ash, when it's like smashing the fucking plates on his head.
Except it's not making funny noises.
No, I know. It doesn't have like that much of a personality.
I wish it did.
I wish it like screeched and like gave people the finger and shit, but it doesn't.
So somehow it comes up that like, because he won't like spill the beans. She's like, why don't you come in and talk about it? And he's like, no, but the hand's like pulling him inside. And they end up in her bedroom, and she like
throws her vagina into his face.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's in there, and he's like, oh yeah, you had that lyric notebook. She's like, oh, you didn't read it, did you? He's like, yeah. And he like recites like some corny lyric that she apparently wrote back to her, and she's like really turned on. So she goes over by her fucking record player and starts putting on this like seductive music while he's in the background like with this fucking hand doing like a fucking puppet show.
And then the hand grabs like 97% of her ass really fucking hard.
Palms it like a fucking Harlem Globetrotter, man.
Even if I had a girlfriend and I walked up and grabbed her like that, she might throw an elbow out of instinct.
If I walked up on my fiance and did that, she would turn around and smack me in the face. And he does it with such a veracity that's just like, he's going to rip this fucking cheek off.
But she's really into it.
Yeah, she's like, you made the move first. All right, and let's do it.
So then she basically knocks him into the bed and they have a makeout session. And the hand is like trying to rip her ear off or something. I don't even know what it was doing.
Well, trying to choke her to death.
Yeah, it's trying to choke her, yeah. But she's into that, too. She's like, yeah, all right.
You know, he then eventually is like, hold on a second. And she basically allows him to, like, fuck with his hand. I don't know why she's not like creeped out that his hand is just doing what he's not telling it to do.
Oh yeah, he like fucking ties it to the bedpost. He's like, I'm ready.
And then like it fades out, implying there's been some time pass, and then it fades back in and it's like, oh shit, my parents. And then she says like some line like, I don't think the pastor wants to hear his daughter getting fucked. You better come back later. She says it with a little bit more class than that, but...
Pretty much, yeah.
So he goes back home, and then buries his parents and his friends.
And then he's, like, having a sermon for him. He's like, thanks for being my parents. You were real nice or whatever. And you guys were good friends, and I'm sorry that I killed you and I buried you. Bye.
And then, his two friends just come back from the dead.
Can somebody please tell me what the fuck the point of this is? Like, I know we have, like, a supernatural hand, right? And the zombie thing is kind of cool, but, like, they're basically just like, yeah, we walked towards the light, but then I was like, I gotta smoke some more joints or whatever, and then we didn't go to the light, and it was, like, really far away, so we just decided to become zombies.
I think you just nailed it.
There's no cause to have zombies, and there are.
I wanted Fred Willard to come back as a zombie, but he didn't.
I was thinking that in the back of my head. I was like, Fred, you don't get the same treatment.
That would have been fucking hilarious. Instead, I got this.
Anton, you murdering me is the most proactive thing you've done in your whole life.
I know, right?
Yeah, you lazy bastard.
You lazy schmuck.
He buries them all, and yeah, they basically, he hears Seth Green through the ground, like, hey, I'm not dead. And they basically come out of the fucking ground like Frankenstein's monster or some shit, and they start choking him out.
Well, no, they hit him in the head with a shovel.
Yeah, they just like knock him out, and then they're just like eating his cheese doodles and watching television.
Yeah, well, he goes to sleep, or they put him in bed, and then he just thinks, oh shit, that was a crazy dream, and he comes down, they're both down, they're dead, and the fucking the Pnub's got his fucking head like in his lap, and Seth Green has this fucking beer bottle poking out of his fucking forehead. And he's like, oh my god, you guys really did die. And there's this bit from earlier in the movie where fucking Seth Green's throwing the cheese poofs into Pnub's mouth, and now it's just Pnub's fucking head on a sofa, and he's just like throwing the fucking cheese balls at his face.
And they're just fucking hitting him in the eye and shit.
That's pretty good.
Devon Sawa was like, what the fuck? And that's where you get the explanation they've come back from the dead. Because they're just stoners, man, and they didn't want to go to heaven, dude, because it's really, really far, and it's a long walk.
You have this character that's like seen briefly in a couple scenes, this guy Randy that we mentioned a few times. He's just like this kind of dude that lives next door to Devon. He's always wearing like the fucking Metallica shirt, and he's got this big fucking truck that he drives.
He's also Matthew McConaughey from fucking Dazed and Confused, in that he is routinely hitting on high schoolers.
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah, that was a little creepy. I don't really get what the angle was with that.
I don't know. He's a lost Busey, man.
Oh well, here's the thing. This is a criticism I can throw this movie without really because I do like this, but there's a few things about it that don't sit well with me. And one of the big things is the jokes that have aged like dog shit.
Like nearly all of them?
Well, no. In just terms of cultural appropriateness, like there's a couple weird gay jokes, and then there's kind of a rapey joke a little later on involving Randy and somebody else.
Oh yeah, doesn't he? They're talking about the. Okay, so
this is the scene, literally.
Yeah, this is the scene. So they're at Jungle Burger for a fucking memorial service.
Right, because Anton goes to Pnub and fucking Seth Green. He's like, oh, you guys, do you know anything about Satan? They're like, no, we didn't go there. We just, and then they explain their whole, we didn't want to walk the whole distance thing.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, do you know anyone that knows anything about Satan? And then it's like, oh, we do. And then it cuts to the fucking burger, or Jungle Burger, where Randy's at, like, trying to pick up fucking, like, mourning women.
That guy who listens to Motley Crue, he knows about the devil.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
That is indicative this was written by someone who must have been like
didn't know shit about anything,
old enough to be around when people were like, hair metal is from the devil.
Satanic Panic. It was the 80s, man.
I think that's the joke that they're trying to make, whether they're successful in making that joke or not. I think that is literally what they're going for.
The joke is coming nearly 2 decades later. Like,
oh yeah.
But it's also a piss poor interpretation of it as well.
Yeah.
The guy's wearing a fucking Quiet Riot shirt. Like, what? I don't think they ever sang about the fucking devil, you ass.
So yeah, they go to the burger joint, and it's like all these high schoolers and adults and whatnot just mourning over these twins who have like Steve Irwin ass like safari outfits on in their fucking picture.
I didn't get this at first because I'm like, what the fuck?
They both look like a fucking wild thornberries.
Well, they both work for the fucking burger place. That's the whole thing.
I know, but I thought they were like butterfly catchers or something.
Here's the thing. If I found out that someone buried me and then used a picture of me in my work uniform at the fucking fast food joint I probably regrettably worked at, I would climb out of my grave and I would just bother you for the rest of existence.
Their memorial service is in front of the fast food place.
Well, that's where they died, man.
Oh, that's right.
The fucking girl he's hitting on, Randy, he's like, oh, yeah, how well did you know him? She's like, I didn't really know him well at all. I used to make fun of them. I said they were losers. They wanted to go on a double date with me. And I was like, there's 2 of you. Go suck each other off.
And then Randy goes, well, did they? Cut.
Like, what the fuck? They're fucking brothers. But yeah, besides the fact that joke is fucked up, just add that additional layer to it.
I just laughed at it because I was just like, dude, it's just a throwaway thing, but like, I thought that was funny because it was just so ludicrous.
It's kind of Ben Stiller, Zoolander-esque, but did they?
Jesus Christ, man! There's just some things you don't talk about in public.
Someone's funeral. Or someone's memorial. So then he's like, they're there, and then he puts his fucking arm around her, and I was like,
oh yeah, he's like, I graduated high school 3 years ago, he says.
That's gross, because this girl could be 17, and you're an adult.
He's gonna take that chance, Connor.
But then Anton shows up and is causing, like, a massive public disturbance.
He's like, where's the guy who knows about Satan?
Mind you, every scene his hand is fucking freaking out while he's having conversations with people.
He looks like he's doing the fucking Humpty dance, man, like all over the place.
So Randy freaks out because this girl that he's been hitting on, thank God, leaves. And he's like, how dare you cockblock me, man?
I thought we were friends. And then he peels out and runs over the memorial in his fucking monster truck. And it's the funniest shit ever.
Because he literally runs over the picture with all the flowers.
Yeah.
Just to get into the fucking drive-thru even. Not even just to leave. He
fucking goes into the goddamn drive-thru to order a bunch of food, and he runs over the fucking memorial. It's great. That was a good gag. Like, I wish this movie was better.
Anton witnesses this, and he's like, I gotta get answers out of this guy. So he, like, sneaks in the back door and, like, takes someone's fucking uniform and, like, adds an additional layer to his outfit for the rest of the film.
He does, like, an abridged version of the Leguizamo sketch from The Pest, where he dresses as the Chinese food delivery man.
Exactly. He takes the fucking hat from the memorial. because like the twins' hats are like on the memorial, and he like takes one of them and puts them on.
And then he like goes in the drive-thru and starts he's waiting for Randy to pull around, and like his hand is like slamming itself into a big fucking bowl of just like freshly ground disgusting fast food meat.
So Randy pulls up and he's like, Jesus Christ, fucking Anton, is that you in there, man? And he's like, tell me everything you know about the devil. And he's like, I don't know, man. It's, rock and roll music is like, Mozart. And it's like, what, dude? And he's like, yeah, it's like that, except like heavier.
Yeah, in having nothing to do with the devil.
Whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean.
And then Randy gets up to the window and he's like, you know what? He's like, because he's like, Devon Sawa, Anton's like, I can't control what my hand's doing. It's doing weird stuff. And he's like, oh, he's had that problem all the time. He's like, gotta keep yourself busy. You know what I mean? Probably implying masturbation, I think.
Oh, no, it is, because he does, like, the jerk-off motion.
Yeah, but he's also saying, like, hey, I work on my truck all the time because it keeps me busy and keeps me out of trouble. Like, maybe try that. And he's like, huh.
Which actually isn't even that bad advice, because I'm like, yeah, it would actually keep you very busy and probably keep you preoccupied.
It's kind of like legit advice.
Yeah.
Except he's still, like, hitting on, like, high school girls.
Yeah. The guy's a wet fart, but he's clearly friends with fucking Anton.
Yeah, or he likes to think he is.
Well, I mean, it seems like they all live in the same like 4 to 5 house area.
Right, they live on the same block.
It looks like they're all neighbors, so it's believable. And that's when he drops the movie's tagline. He's like, they say the idle hands, the devil's playpen.
He says playground.
He says playground, and later on, Devon Sawa says playpen. And I thought it was gonna be a running gag where everyone just fucks that line up the rest of the movie. Like, what they say, idle hands in the devil's house. Idle hands in the devil's car.
It's Herbie Hancock.
At this point, too, he goes back to the house after he gets this fucking information from Randy, and he's there. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, I gotta keep my hands busy. He's fucking, like...
knitting.
Yeah, he's got the knitting needles, and he's making a fucking scarf or something.
And it's like Rob Zombie's, Dracula
is on the TV.
It's playing.
Which is funny, because, like, this time of year is the only year I listen to Rob Zombie. And, like, that song came on, I was like, all right.
Did I am tonight.
If you don't control the hand, then why would suddenly deciding to knit cure this, give you temporary control of the situation? Like, I don't understand.
Because he's doing something with it is the whole thing.
Well, Seth Green also calls him out on that and is like, I think that's just a saying, man. I think you're reading too much into it. And he's like, oh, no, it seems to be working.
And he's like, I think that's just a metaphor, man.
And this is also, you see fucking Pnub fucking smoking a bowl and the smoke coming out of his neck because he's got his head, like, upside down, taking the hit, like, in his lap.
I can't remember how, but there's 2 cops from earlier pull up on, like, fucking Anton's house.
Yeah, noise complaint from playing Rob Zombie too loud.
Turn that fucking shit off.
Turn that goddamn Rob Zombie off. Dig through the ditches and burn through the bitches.
Turn it down. I can't hear you. I'm listening to Super Beast. Don't they see the bodies on the floor, like, as soon as they get up close to the house?
Well, they don't see the parents. They just see Pnub and fucking Seth Green. They're like, oh my god.
Oh, that's right.
And this is where they drop that line where they're like, oh, we should call him back up. And the other guy's just like, no, we don't want to get the feds involved. We need the glory.
So they kick down the fucking door. And they go in, and Devon Sawa's like, holy shit. And he's like, freeze, motherfucker. And he's like knitting it, and the guy's like, drop the needles. And
he's like, I don't want to do that. And he keeps knitting in their face. Like,
yeah, he's like, I can't do that. And fucking Nelson's like, hey, may I suggest it? And the cop, fucking Sean Whalen, freaks out and shoots Foggy right in the fucking head.
So then they're like, put the needles down. He's like, can't do that. And he's like, actively knitting while having guns put in his face, which I find to be very amusing. Like,
and then Pnub goes after he gets shot in the head. He's like, I was going to tell you to, like, just chill out, but now just kill him. Like, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him.
And Seth Green's like, yeah, kill this fucking cop.
And the cops are obviously freaked out because they're talking to zombies and a man who's knitting aggressively at them. And he's like, cuff me. He's like, I'm going to cuff you. He's like, do it, cuff me.
They're like, put down the knitting needles first. And he's like, no, just cuff me.
And he's like, put down the needle. And then this motherfucker gets rocked right through his ear with the fucking sewing needle.
This was awesome.
It was cool, man. I like it.
Anton fucking drives a sewing needle or a knitting needle through this guy's ear, out the other one, and he fucking spins, blood shoots out of his head, and he falls down dead. Anton takes the taser off his belt and shoots Sean Wayland in the face with it and lights him up like a fucking Christmas tree.
He barbecues him. It's fucking awesome.
So now he's killed, 10 people at this point?
Something like that. But we've only seen 4.
So then Anton goes full Ash from Evil Dead 2, and he's like, I'm gonna cut this fucking thing off. And then he like puts it in like a guillotine.
He puts it in a fucking bagel guillotine, and fucking Pnub is like, hey, that thing doesn't even cut my fucking bagel, man. And it immediately breaks the second he lowers it onto his hand.
Yeah. He's like, God damn it.
He smashes it down and the fucking the blade like bends.
And he's like, hey, give me that, what does he ask for? The turkey slicer?
He pulls out a fucking cleaver.
Well, no, he gets the turkey slicer first.
Oh, God, and he channels fucking Gunnar Henson.
Yeah, and Seth Green's like, ah, ha, 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 and then it gets unplugged.
It's been 25 hours since I held one of these babies.
It's been 3 Thanksgivings since I handled one of these babies.
It's been too long. My knees don't work.
I don't have an extension cord, so fuck it.
For an actor we supposedly love, we have no problems just shitting on his performance from that one movie.
I'm telling, the man should never talk.
So he gets the meat cleaver, and he's trying to cut it off, but he's playing fucking like whack-a-mole. His hand keeps moving.
Yeah.
And then eventually, Pnub puts his fucking head on the table because he's sick of holding it or something, and then Anton's like, wait, bite my hand, and then he does, and then while he's biting down on Devon Sawa's hand, Devon Sawa cuts his fucking hand off.
And then, like, Seth Green, who in, like, there's a weird subplot / gimmick of Seth Green suddenly being very handy.
Yeah, what is that about?
He just, like, he's always running off to get something to fix something, so this is, like, Anton cuts his hand off, and then Seth Green immediately runs over to the following room, grabs an iron that is plugged in, and just fucking slams it onto Anton's bloody stump.
And cauterizes it?
And he spots it. He's like, it's cool, man. We'll stop the bleeding. I'm like, why are you suddenly proficient? And
Survival. Why are you how are you suddenly a survivalist? And he's like, he like puts like a rag and like a plastic bag on it or whatever.
Yeah. I'm like, this is kind of intuitive.
So then Devon Sawa throws the fucking hand in the microwave.
But Pnub and fucking Seth Green don't see this because they're like, oh, we're going to go back to Pnub's place to get some medical supplies.
Yeah, because they're like, that's going to get infected. We need to get some like ointment or whatever.
And again, I'm like, that's very intelligent. That's actually what's probably happening right now. So yeah, do that.
So they throw the fucking hand in the microwave, and he like fries the fucking hand, which is pretty cool because it like starts popping and like shooting blood all over the place. It's fucking like totally baked.
This is also the first time in the movie. I mean, the hand's been moving independently the whole film, but it's been attached to Devon Sawa. This is the first time in the movie where you actually see it moving on its own, like climbing around,
and it looks pretty good.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah. The hand is credited. The hand is Christopher Hart. And Christopher Hart has one other credit as a hand, if you could possibly guess.
It's fucking Evil Dead 2 or it's Thing.
It's Thing from the Addams Family movies. So all of that great fancy fucking handwork goes to Hart, man. Here he is in all its glory. He is the evil idle hand.
And I have to say, like, the performance as Thing in the Addams Family is incredible. So yeah.
Bravo. Give him the proverbial hand.
Oh dear God. I'm gonna make you pull that knife out of my back, okay? That fucking hurt.
You know what? I gotta say something though. This guy, he knows how to play a fucking hand. You gotta give him that.
Like, I could see how that'd be funny. Like, the director was like, "Oh, let's get the guy from Addams Family that plays Thing to play the fucking hand."
Okay, now here's my question. Like, what if it wasn't, and they just called him and said, like, "Hey, can we credit this fucking animatronic hand as you?"
It could literally be anybody's fucking hand. Okay, there's nothing like unique about it.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he was, known for like the way he could articulate, the hand. I don't know.
I could do the same thing. Most of it is covered in makeup and or a puppet.
It's David Duchovny's character from Zoolander. Second Zoolander reference.
So he barbecues it in the microwave, and he locks it in there.
And then Molly shows up, and she's like, "We're going to the dance, remember?" I'm like, "I forgot."
Who could care?
Well, because she's at the door in her fucking angel costume, which was the only thing I remembered about this movie besides the hand getting cut off.
Which is just a fucking nightie with wings on it.
Yeah.
And she's like knocking at the door, and the whole time she's like waiting out there. She's like, "It's cold out here. Like, let me in." And she's like, "I don't like to be held up." And the whole time she's like trying to get him to let him in, he's like fighting with his hand before he throws it in the microwave. And he finally answers the door, and she's like, well, Anton, if your costume just wasn't ready, you could have just said something. I would have come a little later. And he's like,
I'm good. She's like, what are you supposed to be? He's like, I'm a fast food employee who got his hand cut off.
There's kind of, at least in my opinion, a pretty funny visual gag with that. When he gets his hand cut off, fucking Seth Green, wraps it in a Target plastic bag.
The Target symbol is right on his stump.
Yeah. So they go to the fucking dance, and then Seth Green and Foggy Nelson come back to the house, and they have burritos.
Oh, yeah, because, Foggy Nelson was saying how, oh, yeah, I got those microwave burritos at my house, too. So they come back with them while Devon Sawa is basically trying to convince Molly, hey, maybe we need to do this another time. And he sees them walk in the house, and he's like, I'll meet you at the dance. Trust me. She's like, you're not going to stand me up, are you? And he's like, oh, I never would. So she's convinced to go to the dance, and he goes back in. And in the time that it takes him to convince her to go to the dance while he takes care of something, they fuck the whole thing up. They go to fucking cook these burritos, and the second they do, the hand jumps out and breaks through a window, and they make zero effort to stop. They're just like, huh, that was weird. All right. Says 3 minutes.
They don't give a shit.
And they just fucking crudely throw the burrito in its wrapper in the microwave.
Yeah.
And then you have this fucking scene where Pnub's eating his burrito.
Oh, no, wait. Okay, this is where Seth Green's character suddenly becomes, proactive, because he's like, you know what? That's it. And he decides to reattach Pnub's head by stabbing it with a fucking steak fork or some shit.
Yeah.
And then slams it onto his head. This is like a gag. This whole sequence feels like it was ripped out of a fucking, a movie like Dead Alive.
It's 10 minutes of zombie shenanigans for no reason. It's just like, come on, the movie's almost over. Just come on, let's go.
Yeah. And then he slams his head back on, and he eats his burrito. And Seth Green's watching because he knows it's about to happen. So he eats his burrito, and then it just oozes out of his neck.
Yeah, like the nurse eating the fucking porridge.
And Seth Green is like, hold on, I can fix this too. Runs off and comes back with duct tape. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you, this little genius? What's...
Everything is conveniently in the next room.
But also, his knack and sudden interest in just repairing things. So he duct tapes his head back on so he can eat his burrito. And then that's it.
Then we cut to the bowling alley.
Oh, yeah. Vivica A. Fox's character decides to show back up.
Well, we see Randy, and he's bowling. And he's fucking shit garbage.
He gutter ball, immediately.
Yeah, he hits one pin. And Vivica Fox, comes into the bowling alley for reasons. She sits at the bar. He starts hitting on her immediately.
And he has these two other friends that are with him that are making out, and he's like, don't you guys have a dance to get to? And they're like, oh shit, we gotta do our costumes.
You coming, man? And he's like, nah, I'm gonna go try to fuck Vivica Fox. So he sits at the bar with her, and he's like, hey, how you doing? You come around here often? You like to want to bowl a couple? And she's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and okay. He says, what brings you to bowling? I was like, most people are brought to bowling because of bowling. What are you doing here at the bowling alley? I don't know, hunting elephants.
It's the pins. It's the arcade, of course. That's why we're all here.
I'm here to play Virtua Fighter 2.
I'm here to play T2.
I am here to play Magnum Force.
I'm here to play Area 51.
So he's like, what brings you to bowling? And she just fucking vomits out lore.
I'm part of a religion of people that swore to protect people against this demon hand, and I have to kill it. And he's like, okay, I'll help you. I know a guy who has a crazy hand. She's like, are you fucking serious? He's like, yeah, I swear to God, let's go see it. She's like, okay, let's go. And then they go to the dance. Or Anton's house.
She's going 80 down a fucking 15-mile-per-hour street with this fucking.
It's like a van Winnebago kind of looking thing.
It's an Airstream, an old ass Airstream. Yeah, it's a Winnebago basically.
And so they pull up in front of Anton's house, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna go take care of this. And then I think they see them leaving the house, heading to Randy's house, and he's like, kitten. Don't let them steal my Ford.
Oh, he keeps calling her kitten.
Well, Anton, he comes back after telling Molly just to go to the dance, and he sees that, they're eating the burritos, and Seth Green goes to open it to put his in. He's like, oh, don't open that, the hand's in there. And they open it, and he's like, oh, shit, it's gone. And they explain, oh, yeah, it's not our problem anymore. Who cares? And he's like, dude, it's going to try to kill Molly. And they're like, oh, shit. And then he has, some fucking, preachy spiel about how, oh, man, my whole life I just watch TV and smoke weed. I'm going to give it all up.
This is when they try to slam that $30 worth of weed into his fucking his tiny bowl on his neck.
This is the epiphany that, 10 people I went to high school with had.
Oh my god, I'm just smoking weed all the time.
Oh my god, I'm throwing my life away and all I'm doing is smoking joints.
Congratulations, you're growing up.
So like you guys were saying, Vivica A. Fox, her name's like Debbie LaCour or LaFleur or some shit.
Debbie LaCure.
She's like creeping up on them because, like you guys said, she sees them leaving the house.
But they don't have a car, so they fucking steal Randy's truck and they back up, they fucking run over Vivica Fox. It's just so fucking random, like...
They just knock her out, and then, like, Randy runs up.
She's like, oh, kitten!
This is the other kind of rapey moment where he looks around to see if anyone's looking, and then just, like, goes mouth to mouth on her, but then she wakes up, not because he was successful, but because his breath smells terrible.
She calls him, you got the garbage breath, she says. I sure do. Ate a fucking whole onion before I did that.
He did go to a fast food place.
So then you get this scene where, you know... The hand is like walking down the fucking street with its fingers, and it cuts to the school, and you get the two friends that were with Randy at the bowling alley with their fucking costumes on, and all they're wearing are fucking Kiss t-shirts with Kiss makeup.
Yeah, this is where you get to see Gene Simmons eat out Paul Stanley.
You know, now that you phrase it like that, I kind of want to burn this movie in a fucking tire fire.
Well, we made it about an hour and 20 minutes in this movie without seeing any nudity, and then, well, that's over.
And then them fucking Snoopies come right out.
They're in this car, and the girl's basically complaining, oh, it's so hot in here, my makeup's melting. And you see the hand, like, crawl across the windshield, and they don't see it. So then, you know, they crack the window, and the hand just sneaks in and fucking gets both of them.
Yeah, it chokes and breaks the girlfriend's neck, and then it pre-bloodies the boyfriend's face, because well before he gets his face smashed in the window, he's already got blood in his head.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot the part, too, when she breaks her tits out, and he's, like, grabbing her, and then the fucking hand crawls up her and starts grabbing her boob, and she doesn't even realize it's not his hand for, like, 5 seconds.
Yeah, like, come on. You feel the two hands on your breast, and then you feel this other hand in the middle, like, come on, like, you know what that doesn't feel right.
It's like that scene from Watchmen, but way less interesting. Where Dr. Manhattan's like, I got 47 hands.
So, yeah, so the hand chokes the chick and, like, smashes Gene Simmons' head against the fucking window and he dies.
So, slam cut into the school, the Offspring is playing at the school dance.
Yeah, it's not like Offspring's playing over a PA system, like, it's Offspring, the band.
Yeah, Dexter Holland's up there singing fucking, I want to be sedated.
I don't mind their cover of that.
It's fine.
I love the Offspring, but this is probably my least favorite Offspring song. But that guy sucks as an actor, and it took me 2 lines of dialogue to figure that out.
You know who's better? Gunnar Hansen. I'll take it.
24 hours to go. I want to be sedated.
I think I am sedated. Somebody get me a fucking Xanax. My back is killing me. I've been sedated for the past 24 hours.
It's the only way I agreed to be a mosquito is if I was just knocked up on Xanax the entire time.
My arthritis is killing me. Somebody pour me a White Russian.
So Molly's inside dancing with the girl from the fucking memorial that Randy hit on, and now she has a name?
Tanya.
They have kind of this, again, another visual gag where, you know, Jessica Alba has, like, the angel costume on, and her friend has the devil costume on.
I gotta tell you something. I'm digging Jessica Alba's dance moves here.
I don't know what she's doing.
She looks like she's in pain.
Well, it's probably because she is probably on Molly as well.
Yes, that's what it's like.
That is the only way I can describe those moves.
She's like, I'm waiting for Anton doing the swim.
Anton, actually, he sends Pnub and fucking Seth Green into the party because, you know, it's a Halloween party, so they fit right in. And he's, like, going to find the hand somewhere in the school. He doesn't know where, but he's going to try to find it and kill it before it can do any more damage.
Yeah, they're supposed to protect Molly or some shit, but they don't.
Right. So they walk into the party, and immediately that girl runs up to them, and I was like, oh, man, who did your costumes?
Great makeup. Want to make out?
Well, yeah, because Pnub keeps saying, oh, yeah, it's a party. There's chicks here, man. And Seth Green's, like, disgusted by the concept. He's like, dude, we're dead. Like, that's kind of freaky.
And Foggy Nelson's just like, come on, man, I want to get fucking laid. Like, the whole time. And then later he's like, I'm never going to get laid.
So he starts dancing with this girl that's in the devil costume, and Anton's, like, fucking running around the school like Tom Arnold at fucking 9 o'clock at night.
And then we cut to the fucking principal.
Who's calling a phone sex line?
What is the principal doing at this school, at the Halloween dance, in his office, calling a fucking phone sex line?
So the hand crawls through like a window or some shit, and this guy's doing his sex fucking phone call.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna spank you with the ruler. Yeah, I'm so fucking hot. He says.
He's like, I'm so hot, I can feel you touching me. Wait, it feels like I feel you touching me. Wait, I think you are really touching me.
The fucking hand crawls up his pant leg and is like massaging his dick and then like rips out of his pants and then he just dies off screen.
This hand's got a sense of humor, I will say.
How much of that was the Thing actor and how much of that was actually in the script, do you think?
He's like, no, I gotta be in his pants for this scene.
I'm committed to my craft. I'm gonna shove my whole arm up his fucking pant leg.
I have to put my actual hand needs to be on his dick.
The principal actor just like eyeballs the director, and the director's like, play it as it lies.
Heart, man, he's a real method actor, this guy. I love him.
He is the Daniel Day-Lewis of his craft, okay?
The fucking hand guy.
He's sitting at home, he's waiting for a phone call for the next Addams Family movie to
drop.
He's like, I'm gonna get that call one day.
So, yeah, he kills the principal by squeezing his dick to death.
So, then, like, Devon Sawa was running around.
He runs into the dance room where Offspring's still playing.
Yeah, he does, like, a Max Dennison. And he's like, oh, the witches are here. You gotta get... The Sanderson sisters are back. Get out of the dance club.
And they have the exact same reaction.
Well, before that, though, he runs into fucking... He runs into Debbie and Randy in the fucking hallway, and she's got this fucking ceremonial knife that she has on her.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I kind of love her. Like she goes from 0 to 100. She's like, it's okay. I'm here to help. Die.
Yeah. And fucking Randy's like, yeah, kick his fucking ass. He stole my truck.
As she's like about to stab him to death, he's like, whoa, maybe that's a little bit overkill.
I mean, he did steal my Motley Crue tape, but geez, that's extreme.
Devon Sawa gets her to stop just long enough to be like, hey, look, my fucking hand is cut off. And she's like, you stupid idiot.
Yeah, you let it go? What?
I like how she presented him with two potential options, like, yeah, keep the hand so I can kill you and the hand dies, but please don't cut off your hands.
It's like Fred Gwynn in fucking Pet Sematary. He fucking takes him to bring that cat back to life, and then he's like, sometimes dead is better. It's like, motherfucker, why'd you take me out there then?
Excuse me, Herman, why did you show him how to fucking bring things back from the dead, you asshole?
I don't know. I have a problem, sir, okay? I just like to stand here and tell people about the dangerous animal cemetery down the road, right?
I used to be a judge, but then fucking Joe Pesci fucking ran me out of a job.
So yeah, then you get this scene where he's up on the stage like Max from fucking Hocus Pocus.
And the lead singer of Offspring demonstrating that he should never, ever, 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 ever speak on film again.
It's like verbatim Hocus Pocus, though. He's like, hey, all right, man, trick or treat. That was great. Halloween joke.
Okay, kid, you've had your moment now. It's time to... Awkward pause.
And then the hand falls on his head.
And, like, scalps him.
Yeah, he rips the top of his fucking head off. And I was like, that was pretty cool, too.
There's just a really fun novelty of watching a severed hand murder the lead singer of The Offspring.
I think this is the only time this happens in history.
And everybody runs.
And then it's just like a big, like, everybody's like, oh, the hand or whatever. And the hand, like, locks the door and, like, breaks a fucking lock off so they can't open it. Molly and Tanya, like, Tanya gets a bright idea. She's like, come on, the only way out's to fucking crawl through the vents like fucking John McClane. And she like pulls the thing off and they go in there.
These vents are huge.
Yeah, they're gigantic.
So they crawl in these ventilation shafts and like for some reason, why was the fan on? I don't remember. It just is.
It's just on. It's perpetuating the air throughout the whole fucking building.
So okay, like for some reason there's a death trap in the ceiling of the school. Presumably it was designed by John Kramer.
Do you want to play a game with a fan?
Yeah, I know you've had it rough since your wife died, John. You want to come design our school? I would be happy to.
Hello, Tanya.
So then their bright idea is to like escape by jumping down through this fan by wedging it shut with Tanya's high heel, which I don't think would work very well. I think it would just shred it.
Jessica Alba like dangles this shoe like next to it. The fan like hits it and then it catches it and then stops.
I feel like it just fucking chopped the shoe in half.
If Ernest can't stop a fucking garbage truck with a baby doll head in the gears, there's no way she's gonna stop this fucking fan with a fucking pump. No way.
Before the hand goes in there and rips Dexter Holland's fucking head off, or scalp off, I should say. It fucking sharpens all its nails in a pencil sharpener. And so you hear, like, as the hand's coming up behind them in this ventilation shaft, just the clicking of the fucking fingernails on the metal.
It looks cool, and you only see him sharpening the one finger, because the other fingers are kind of, they're hidden behind the hand itself. And then it flays its fingers up to show all of them are sharpened one by one by one. And I'm like, that was actually really cool looking.
Well, that scene's creepy. And I'm like, this kind of could have been, like, I don't know. I'll save that for the end. But, like, that scene looks creepy and it's shot well. I like it.
I liked it a lot. And it's like seemingly throwaway, and it's this throwaway thing that's done very, very well.
It's literally to scalp the singer from fucking Offspring, and that's it.
Yeah, because then like they skirt around ever having to show this hand again by putting it into a fucking puppet. So so Jessica Alba makes it down to the fan. They have rope. It's the whip, right? So yeah, Jessica Alba lowers on the whip, and then the hand is there, and then fucking turns the whip into a noose, and he drops Tanya through it, and then the fan turns back on. It sucks her up and cuts her to pieces.
I wish they showed it.
Yeah, you just get more strawberry jam.
Jessica Alba gets fucking sprayed with blood, and then like Seth Green and like Foggy are like going through the vents, and they come across her, and he's like, "Oh my god." Foggy's like, "Oh, Tanya's dead. Oh no, now I'll never get laid."
But like, it's like there's nothing left. It's just like, isn't just like fucking blood and guts everywhere.
It's just goo.
And then somehow, I don't remember fucking how this hand gets a hold of Molly, or how it manages to tie her to the hood of a car, the roof of a car.
She goes into the art studio or what have you, and then the fucking hand drops like a fucking clay pot on her head and knocks her out.
Oh, that's right, yeah. She goes, ow, and then falls down.
You don't see how Devon Sawa gets there, but he ends up in the art room too, and he's looking around, and he kind of stumbles past the clay pot, and he sees these like puppets in the display, like this art project.
This is fucking stupid. This was
done exclusively so they wouldn't have to use any kind of hand effects.
Right? You think so? I think so too.
So like the puppet, not the puppet. Yeah, the hand is in a puppet or a series of puppets.
Yeah.
And Devon Sawa has to like fight all of them.
And then he finally catches it, and he like has the hand in the puppet.
And then fucking Pnub and Mick fall through the ceiling and knock him unconscious.
And guess what? The hand gets away.
Yeah, again. And it has Molly again like tied in like 6 or 7 different ways to the roof of a car that's attached to like the fucking
it's just a car lift, like if you'd lift it up to like change the oil or whatever.
It's the thing I've killed people with in the Punisher game.
And then there's like a fucking giant pentagram like painted in blood on the ceiling.
Yeah, I don't know how this hand got all this done.
Is the goal to like impale, like to crush her against the ceiling?
Yeah, so it can steal her soul, because Vivica A. Fox talks about how it always comes for a soul in particular on the final night.
For 23 days, every 23rd spring, it gets a soul.
This puppet, I keep wanting to call it a fucking puppet, because it basically is now. The hand is in a puppet, and it's like pulling this lever to lift the car up into the ceiling to try to smush Jessica Alba.
It's emoting. Its face changes.
Yeah, the fucking puppet's face change expresses emotion. That's where I'm starting to like, I'm kind of getting angry. I get the zombies.
This is the point, Connor, that got you angry.
Yeah, I'm like, I get the zombies and the fucking stupid ass hand thing, but like, when somebody that shouldn't have these properties just suddenly has these properties, and you haven't set up that this can happen, like
it's just a puppet. Why is it smiling, and then why does it have sharp teeth and like a furrowed brow?
Yeah, it's a puppet that was inside a school, and you didn't tell me that this hand could, give supernatural properties to things it was, currently holding, inhabiting, puppeteering. I don't know. This is a new thing,
or whatever.
Mick runs off as they're trying to pull this lever down and finds, first of all, this is still a school, and no one would have built this thing and left it there.
No.
What does he call it? Mighty Joe Bong?
Yeah, but he keeps saying he built it, and Seth Green's like, you didn't build that. And that's like a running joke.
And it's this ridiculous looking bong. It's made of like exhaust. But actually, honestly, I would probably own this thing.
Yeah, let's be real. You're calling this thing ridiculous, but wouldn't you want to take a hit off that?
I would totally take a hit off that.
It is obnoxious looking, and like as far as novelty smoking pieces go, it's pretty interesting looking.
Because it's fucking ridiculous. Like, I need to hit it.
It is nowhere near as awesome as the dude's mug bong from Cabin in the Woods, which broke me in half the first time he fucking extended it like a goddamn lightsaber.
Oh, yeah.
They start hitting this bong originally for quote-unquote strength.
Yeah, like Pnub's like, I need me spinach.
So let's take a fucking bong rip so that we can lift this fucking car, or like beat this fucking demon hand.
Do they know how weed works? Because the more weed you smoke, the less useful you are.
Yep.
See, I don't agree with that. It really depends on what you're smoking.
What's a sativa?
Okay, here's the thing. You may be productive within a half hour of taking this kind of hit, but initially, you're going to want to take that in. You're going to want to sit down.
It makes me want to take a nap.
So then, like, Anton, like, lets go the fucking lever, and Jessica Alba's like, you're smoking me with your friends? What the fuck?
Yeah. Even Jessica Alba's like, Jesus Christ, can we get on with this already?
Not to mention that the little bit of clothing she had on, they accidentally ripped off as they tried to, grab her off the fucking roof.
Devon Sawa rips this girl's fucking dress off, and she's just exposed.
Anton runs over and like rips this thing ridiculously. I'm surprised it didn't come with a full on. He pulls this massive hit in and then blows it into the puppet's bottom.
Yeah.
And then the puppet's head turns around and its eyeballs roll into the back of its head, and now it's got little stoner veins.
Yeah, like it's bloodshot.
Like bloodshot eyes all of a sudden, and passes out.
Yeah.
I'm like, these are not rules that you have set up at all. It's, again, I can get the zombie thing because there's an in joke there that kind of explains away the stupidity of it. But there's nothing with this.
You're also talking about a demonic hand, like that thinks for itself. It doesn't have a brain.
Why the puppet?
Because
I agree with that. They probably did it to save money. But also, I mean, you think about it, if they just blew that fucking hit on that hand as it is, yeah, maybe it would work. But the idea that it's in this fucking puppet where it can't escape at all...
Are you telling me that they hotboxed the hand into defeat?
Yes.
That is the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Basically.
It's like the only thing about this movie I just actively hate. So they stop the lift.
As like, they make a point to show that it's like literally pressing up to Jessica Alba's nose.
Yeah. And she's like, did we win?
And they're all like high-fiving and shit.
And she's like, could you please get her down? And then like the hand makes one more lunge at Anton, I guess. And then like Vivica A. Fox runs in, throws the knife at it, and it hits it square in the palm, and it lands in Seth Green's chest. And then it goes like, yeah! And then it goes, poof.
And just disappears.
And Seth Green's like, that's it? No hellfire, nothing? No pyrotechnics? That was it? That was weak.
And then Vivica Fox is like, all right, great. Now it's time for the druid fucking ritualistic sex. And then she's like, come on, Randy.
And he just goes.
Yep.
And then Anton dies, the end. Or at least that's what should have happened.
Yeah, seriously, though. That would have been a good way to end this.
No, but instead you have Anton and Molly start making out. You know, they get her off the top of the car. And, she kind of like they're under the car for whatever reason, and she backs up to be like, I don't remember what she says. She's like, she goes to say something to him, and then like the two other guys are like fucking around, and they accidentally knock the lever down, and it fucking crushes Devon Sawa like under this car.
Here's the thing, it doesn't just crush him like he's laying down and it falls on his legs. It crushes him like an accordion.
Yeah.
He should be a pile of bones and pulp.
Oh, he's either paralyzed. If he's alive, he's paralyzed, but he's not. He's dead. He's flattened.
There's no way.
There's no way. He should be a fucking zombie because, like, spoilers, he didn't die. And he's, like, in a hospital bed all bandaged up. And Jessica Alba's there, like, kissing his ass. And he's like, oh, yeah. I fucking, I didn't want to go into the light because, you were here and I needed to come back to you. And she's like, oh, that was real nice that you decided to stay here with me instead of die or whatever. Like, that's basically the exchange.
I'm glad you chose me over brutal death.
Yeah.
She keeps pecking him on the cheek, or on the lips, rather. And then you see the two fucking buddies, Pnub and Seth Green, appear. They're now angels. And they're like, yeah, we're your guardian angel now. And some nurse comes in and is like, oh, he's hallucinating.
Yeah, and then they leave because visiting hours are over. And they're like, hey, buddy, can we get you anything? He's like, yeah, give me some of them fucking crunchy doodads from the fucking vending machine. So they're like, you got it, pal. And they leave. And Devon Sawa looks up and it says, I am under the bed, just like in the beginning with like the black light paint. And then it cuts to the hallway, and he's, like, screaming. And Seth Green and fucking Foggy Nelson are walking down the hallway, and he's like, hey, should we fucking tell him we wrote it on there? And Seth Green's like, nah, fuck him. And then it just cuts to black. And that's the movie.
It's a weird fucking movie. I looked it up earlier right before we got going. I didn't know that this movie was such a fucking train wreck at the theater.
Oh, come on. You didn't know that?
This movie cost $25 million to make and only made $4.2 million.
Because it's a piece of shit.
Here's the thing, like, it's not a movie it's not a movie that I don't ever hear about. I hear people mention this more than not, and it seemed like it's it's kind of in our generation's conscience. And it's just weird to know that it came out and just fucking flatlined. I think it had life on DVD, and that's maybe about it.
I remember this movie when it came out. It was like 7th or 8th grade. And it was just like, oh, that's that movie with the hand and the fucking stoner guys and the dick jokes and the hardy fucking hars and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny for like a fucking kid in 7th grade. It's not funny for like an adult.
Oh, this movie was reminding me consistently that like it was speaking directly to 15-year-old me.
Oh, for sure.
Especially when I heard Static X, I'm like, oh shit. Especially Push It off of Wisconsin Death Trip. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. If anything, it was just like a fun little time capsule with like a bunch of 90s shit in it.
And you said it earlier, it's Devon Sawa post being like a childhood heartthrob.
Yeah. Like, he's right on the cusp there of, like, being a full-blown adult and, like, nobody cares anymore.
Yeah, and, like, what the fuck happened to him?
I don't know. I don't know what I think he's doing, like, some TV now, I guess. I don't know.
Because I feel like the last time I saw him was in Final Destination.
Oh, yeah, he was in fucking Final Destination.
Yeah, he survives the first one. In the second movie, he survives a couple near-death experiences, and then, like, he falls off, like, a fire escape ladder. And he survives, and he's like, oh, that was close. And then, like, the ladder collapses and crushes his skull.
Oh, that was Devon Sawa? Yeah, it goes right into his eye.
Seth Green has kind of since moved out of acting and just basically works on Robot Chicken and kind of does a lot of writing.
Oh, he's doing really well for himself nowadays.
Yeah. We've talked about, we keep calling him Foggy Nelson, but Elden Henson we all know him as fucking Fulton from Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
And he did this, and then I didn't see him for a long fucking time. And now he's in Marvel's Daredevil.
Oh, yeah. I think he's great, though. I think he's a good actor. I mean,
I think he's one of the better parts of Daredevil.
Yeah.
Because he is the other side of Matt's moral compass, where Foggy's the one consistently questioning his bad decisions.
Exactly.
And Vivica A. Fox, I think she came up here and then popped up in Kill Bill, and that was the last time I saw her. And Jessica Alba won't go away. But yeah, she's been around forever, and she's fucking done a shitload of TV. But yeah, how do we feel about this?
Yeah, what kind of treat do we have today, folks?
How do I describe this? It's something like I don't mind, and I liked at times, but I could definitely not eat this all the time. See, I would say a Cadbury egg. That's Easter, because I think as an adult, if I eat a Cadbury egg, I might die.
Oh, Cadbury Scream egg for Halloween with the green shit in it. That's my favorite.
It's like it's not a specific candy, but it's anything like gratuitously gooey with lots of like really unhealthy garbage in the middle of it. That again, if I eat as an adult, too much of, I may puke.
This is a popcorn ball for me. You know, you're like, oh, fuck, I love popcorn, and then you take a big bite of it, and it's just dry. It's dry, there's no flavor, and it just leaves your mouth tasting like shit. That's my conclusion of this film.
For me, I don't know. I actually really like this movie. I agree that a lot of the jokes don't land, but the ones that do, I think, are pretty effective, so I'm going to compare this to like a Laffy Taffy.
Okay, go ahead, but I got my candy.
I'm saying Laffy Taffy because it's chewy, and it takes a little bit too long to eat, so that would be kind of like the fat of the movie, all the bad one-liners that Seth Green fucking throws out there. I could do without, but the overall package, the flavor I enjoy, when you swallow that hunk of fucking candy when you're done chewing on it for like 10 minutes, and it just goes down your throat kind of uncomfortably, but you still enjoy it. That's how I would describe this movie. I like it enough.
I'm taking back all I said. This movie is Milk Duds, because Milk Duds are really fantastic on paper, and then you go to physically chew them, and it's agony, and they rip out your fillings, and they get stuck in your teeth, and you need a doctor or a dentist or a very powerful toothbrush to get them out. So this movie is tasty, but it's also kind of annoying.
So that's it. That's Idle Hands from 1999, directed by Rodman Flender. If you want some more bad movie goodness, you can check us out at MovieDumpsterPodcast.com. Follow us at Movie Dumpster on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also check out our sister podcast, The Phantom Zone, hosted by our very own Connor McGraw. You can find them at phantomzonepodcast.wordpress.com. I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor McGraw.
Thanks for visiting the dumpster.
Move it, people! Let's go! Some of us are on serious missions here. There's evil out there, and I gotta kick its ass!
Dang on. Isn't it a little chancy? I mean, this is Halloween. Isn't all the creepy things are supposed to stalk the earth?
It deals with demons, demon resurrection, and those forces which roam the forest and dark bowers of man's domain. The first few pages warn that these enduring creatures may lie dormant, but are never truly dead.
It's Halloween, gentlemen. Halloween! Have you forgotten?
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
Trick or treat.